Hello, welcome. Welcome to the first episode of my podcast. I am not sure where this is going. I want to start a podcast or a channel about books, talking about books that I love. Specifically, well, I wouldn't say specifically, but centered around science fiction. And I haven't seen YouTube channels where they also play games. So I kind of wanted to do that. So this is primarily a book channel, but I also play a game while I'm talking about the book. And also, it's kind of hard to talk to yourself and just stare at a screen. So I wanted something to do. So I've decided to play Starfield. Starfield as I talk about the book that we're going to be talking about today, which is Absolution by Jeff VanderMeer. Okay, before we get into it, I guess I should say a little bit about myself. Um, I really love books. I really love video games. I did my undergrad in English literature, and after that, I got my master's in book publishing, and that just says that I really like books. But I also really love video games, and this particular video game is also one of my favorites. What else? Well, let me talk about my history with Annihilation. When I was in my undergrad in literature, there was a class I took called um, Literature in the Age of Trump. This was in 2017, 18, and it was an interesting class. I didn't I don't think I had to I think there was two options, either that class or some other one. And the age literature in the Age of Trump sounded more interesting. So I took that one and we read a lot of literature, including Annihilation and things like The Power. There's another book we read called Citizen, and I can't remember the rest of them. But the Unreal, the Unrelenting of Ghosts. I can't remember, but that one was cool because it was about a spaceship, and a girl living in that spaceship, and society was just separated between race, and it was an interesting read. I can't remember all the details about it. There's something gurgling around here. What is that? I don't know. But anyways, yes, I love literature. My first encounter with Annihilation was in a college course, and I loved Annihilation. Uh, it is very dark, huh? Well, how about we turn it up a little bit? Let's turn on our flashlight and see what we find. But anyway, yes. Ooh, there's some lights over there. So yes, the Annihilation. I had seen the movie before I read the book, so that was quite uh, uh, an endeavor because the book Annihilation is, I would say it's very, it's somewhat similar, but it has a different vibe to it, I think. And I sort of keep them separate. Annihilation, the book is Annihilation, the book, and Annihilation, the movie is its own thing. And and yeah, I still have my I still have my copy of Annihilation with all my notes in it. I don't think I ever wrote a paper on it, I think the my paper was on the power, and I can't remember what it was about. But anyway, yes, I love books. I love video games, and I want to get used to talking about books because it's something we all need to do. Like I think there's not enough book readers out there, especially in video games. Like video game people, I, I don't know. I don't think they read as much, or because they play video games, I don't think they feel the need to read. And so I kind of want to mesh these two things together. You know, reading can be fun, and there's cool things in books, cool sci-fi things. For example, this game is really cool, and a lot of people love it. Some people hate it, but we won't get into that. Look at this. This is interesting, huh? Colorful plants. It's very Annihilation. So yes, this is just me getting used to talking to myself, which is kind of weird. Maybe in the future, if anybody actually ever listens to this or starts following me or subscribing or whatever, maybe I'll do something more. But for now, I just want to keep it personal. Try to just get in the habit of talking about everything I read, and yeah, that's kind of it. As per my reading preferences, I am a science fiction lover. I fell in love with science fiction when I saw the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. That was in my early 20s, I believe. And ever since then, I went to go read the book by Arthur C. Clarke, and and then ever since then, I fell in love with Arthur C. Clarke and started reading a lot of his stuff. I think to this day, my favorite book of all time. Well, I wouldn't say of all time, but one of my favorite books is Rendezvous with Rama. And yes, that book is incredible, and I can't wait what the director of Dune is going to do with that property because he is scheduled to direct the next Rendezvous with Rama. What's his name? Dennis Villeneuve. I can't remember his last name. But yes, he is. Yeah, can you imagine the Dune director directing Rendezvous with Rama? That's gonna be something. But yes, so I'm primarily gonna talk about science fiction books. I I'm not a big fantasy guy. Um, like I read some fantasy books. I read Sanderson, and he's great. I love all his books. I don't want to talk about Sanderson just because he's been talked about so much. His books have been analyzed over and over again, and I just want to do something different. In my first love is science fiction, so I'm gonna try to talk about newer books and older books at the same time. Like I think my next scheduled book to do something with this channel or to do an episode on is Spin, the 2006 Hugo Award winner by Robert Charles Wilson. Never read it, but I picked it up a few days ago, and yeah, I wanna see what the fuss is about. Why did it win the Hugo Award? You know. Anyway, I guess let's get into it. Maybe I should play a little bit and not just see. This is another thing I need to get used to is actually improving my motor skills and my talking skills and doing that all at the same time. Let's just you know explore and see what we find. This is a, oh, there's something right there. Hunting leaves something. This is the local fauna, and I don't know if this guy's gonna be friendly. Oh, he looks like a mantis or something. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, you gonna attack me? Don't attack me, please. Don't attack me. This is an interesting design. Yes, I'm just murdering the wildlife for XP because I need the XP. That's 80 XP for me. Okay. Now you can also harvest things. But anyway, yes. Now that we killed something, let's see what else we run into. There's a tower over there. It could be, that could be our lighthouse, you know? The Southern Reach saga. It's not a trilogy anymore, I guess. It's a quadrilogy. But yeah, that could be our lighthouse right there. Where was it? There. Okay, let's aim for that. See where it leads us. Yeah, so I guess we can start talking about the book. Now that you have a little history, I've read all of the books in the Southern Reach. I still think Annihilation is by far the best in the series. Absolution, I would say, is a close second. Only because you can just tell that that Jeff VanderMeer's writing has just gotten better. Like from a technical aspect, his writing has gotten just more beautiful, more full of meaning, and just playing on so many narrative levels that you don't know exactly what's going on, um, because it's very vague and it leaves it up to you to interpret what the heck is going on in this book. So yeah, from that aspect, I would say yeah, it's great. It's great. As far as the story and where it goes, maybe that's probably not my favorite aspect of the book. Like especially like you have to answer the question, is this book really needed? And I would say probably not. And I'm talking about Absolution now. Yeah, I'm not sure it was needed, and you maybe find a little, you maybe discover a little more about what the heck Area X is. But this is, after all, a prequel to the entire Southern Reach. And yeah, I'm not sure if it's needed, but I'm glad I read it though. It is, like I said, the writing is, he's just gotten so much better. Not that he was bad or anything, but you can just see um, the level he's on as a writer. But yeah, so Annihilation is probably my favorite. Um, some people don't like Authority, and I would say it's probably. Ooh, what the heck is this? Is this gonna attack me? I don't think it's gonna attack me. Let's go first person. Interesting. That is definitely something that you would find in Area X, right? Okay, let's stay away from it. Oh, there's a bunch of them. Oh, you can scan these. Maybe I should be scanning them. You get XP if you scan the whole planet. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do some scan. Anyway, yes. Authority. I really like Authority. I think here's what Jeff VanderMeer really loves to do. He loves to shake things up. And Authority is one of those novels that you think you're gonna get more of the same thing, but he's like, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's just let's take it in a different direction. Let's go into the perspective of Central in this entity, government entity trying to cover up Area X. Let's take it from that perspective. And I think Control, the main character, he's an interesting character. He's got a lot of baggage. Um, and yeah, I think that book was great. I don't see why people um, disliked it. I wouldn't. Yeah, I think it's just maybe their least favorite book, and I can kind of get that. But anyways, Acceptance was great too, and Acceptance was great because on a technical level, it's also you can tell that his writing has just gotten so much better, and yeah, in half the time you don't know what the heck's going on, and just because the writing's so maybe vague is not the proper term, but he's just playing with a lot. He's playing with hypnosis a lot, and just narrative style, and he uses second person too to convey even more meaning, with glorious perspectives there. And oh, and he's playing with timelines as well. And yeah, now the acceptance doesn't give us enough answers. It gives us some answers, but produces more questions, I would say. And I don't know. I'm not sure if I like that. I do want to know what the heck is Area X all about, but at the same time, maybe it's one of those things where if the author does tell you, oh, this is what it is, then it kind of loses all of the mystery of it, and maybe that's why he left it that way. We're approaching a facility here. Let's see what we find in here. Probably gonna find bad guys, and I'm gonna have a really hard time talking and dealing with this facility. So yes, acceptance. I think. Well, let's talk about what I think Area X is. I think we know that Area X is an alien produced thing. Now, I'm alien in the not necessarily from space or like a green-eyed, like a green little man from some other planet, like not that kind of alien. I would say maybe just a foreign body, and that could be even just something from another parallel universe, or just something foreign, not natural to Earth. And I think in acceptance, we also discover that Area X, and I don't know if there's hint of this in the other two books, but we do discover that Area X is playing on time. It's messing with time as well. So it might be an entity that works in the fourth dimension, you know, because you don't know if it's the past or if the future is seeping into the past or the past into the future. Oh God. Oh God. Let's oh, somebody's after me. Okay, let's kill this guy. Hopefully this is not loud and you can still hear me talk while I take care of all these guys, like this rot turret here. Okay, okay, okay. What's hitting me? What's hitting me? What's hitting me? I don't have enough distance for that. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. I'm in danger. They're gonna start coming through here. Watch. Yep. And I died. Well, that was a bust. I guess we're just gonna have to... Okay. Am I still in danger? I am in danger. Okay, how about... we add some powers to the mix. How about we do an anti-gravity field? Because as soon as they're gonna come in, let's do that. Maybe I should have chosen a better weapon because I cannot kill these guys. Okay, level 6, you're easy. 16, you're kind of hard. Oh, 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 oh. Let's see if we have some first aid here. Okay, let's favorite this, put it there, and take one. Okay. Okay. All right. You. Okay. I think all the outside guys are done. I just need to be careful with the inside guys now. Anyway, yes. I think Area X is playing on the fourth dimension. Or messing with time. And we see a lot of that in Absolution. And, let's just get into it. Let's talk about Absolution. So Absolution is in 3 parts, and 3 very distinct parts. The first one is called Dead Town, and this is what I mean when Jeff VanderMeer's writing has just gotten so much better because he's also playing with a lot of narrative devices, with different narrative devices, and I think he's just having a lot of fun with this book. He just wants to do something different, and you can tell he just doesn't want to do the same crap over and over. Let's see if I can shoot this guy. Okay. Okay, I'm not discovered. For example, the first part, Dead Town, is told through an epistolary type narrative where it's, meaning it's kind of like a found footage type deal. It's old Jim reading old journals of the first expedition. It's not even the first expedition. It's the first group that did some sort of research into crocodiles or something. I can't remember exactly what the first group was doing, but they were in when Area X, the location of Area X, they were doing some research, and old Jim is reading about that research through these journals that the group wrote during their event or their expedition. I keep calling it expedition, but that's something different, and that's because there is the first expedition, which is different. So let's call this Expedition Zero. So yes, this is before everything. This is I can't remember exactly. Maybe like 18 years before the start of Annihilation. And so yeah, so everything's told through journals, or old Jim is reading these journals, and you're um witnessing this, and everything's really coded as well. You don't know what the heck's going on. You need to like try to piece it together, and all the names are everybody uses code names, so it's not the real names. It's just like the Mutter or the I can't remember all the names right now, but like I think maybe one's just called the Medic, or no, they have weirder names. I can't remember all the names right now, but they're all in code. And this first Expedition Zero, things just get crazy. They start encountering this well, they took crocodile or alligators, or is it crocodile or is it an alligator? It's a crocodile, right? Or an alligator. I think it's an alligator. But anyway, they took alligators, they released them to do some research, and now the alligators One of the main alligators is like turned into this monstrous thing that's been hunting them. And there's a rogue. There's an entity called the Rogue too, and they don't know what it is, but it's like this shadowy figure, and it ends up like killing most of this expedition. But before that, there's a lot of weird shit. For example, a big part of it are these rabbits. These rabbits with the cameras on them, and there's like they start multiplying, and there's just hundreds and hundreds of them, and they're trying to exterminate them, and they just can't. But the thing with these rabbits is it's messing with them. Like I don't know if I'm not sure in what way. There's a point in I read this a while back, so I'm trying to remember everything. I think at some point two of the members start looking through the cameras of these rabbits. Like they have cameras literally on their like collars, and they look through the cameras, but they can't see anything in there because it's like messing with them. They see themselves, and I think that's partly due with this hypnosis thing that Jeff VanderMeer likes to play with. He really likes this hypnosis. But anyways, most of that expedition dies. There's a few survivors that we find later on in the second part. Oh god. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So the second part of this book is called. I can't remember what it's called. It's called like something. The False Daughter. Yes, the False Daughter. I have the book right in front of me, so I'm like trying to look at it and reference it while I'm getting shot by mercenaries. Yay. This is really hard, by the way. I don't know how like streamers do it. Talk all day. Oh god, this robot's gonna kill me. Let's just get out of here. Let's see that. Let's get out. Let's get out. Let's get out. Oof. Anyway, so the second part, the false daughter, and that, so this part takes on I would say a normal third, is it third person? I can't remember. It's just a normal narrative, and it's told through the perspective of old Jim, the person that was researching these journals, and then he is tasked again to go into this location, which is technically at this point it's called something X, Area X something, and he won in Central, who is headed by the man himself, Jack, which is the granddad of control and acceptance in authority. Old Jim is tasked to go in with this and just pretend that he's a bartender in order to research, to find out what happened, to do some research on the Rogue, and just figure out what the hell's going on in there. And yes, old Jim is an interesting character. He's old. He's got a lot of baggage. He lost his daughter, or his daughter disappeared, and he doesn't know where she's at, and she's been looking for her. And but then also, I don't know if the daughter is made up. It's kind of hard to tell. Like the daughter, you know what? I'm just gonna retreat for now, so I can try to talk about this. Okay, so the daughter, I can't tell if she's always been fake. If these are memories that were implanted into old Jim, so he can be more susceptible to the mission, to completing his mission. Because then this new daughter comes along, and it's a fake daughter, and he knows it's a fake daughter that was sent by Central. and they team up, and he just kind of plays along with it. Um, but yeah. But anyways, yeah. So he's in this place in Area X. He's pretending to be a bartender. Meanwhile, he meets up with some of those old members of Expedition Zero, and he beats one of them to almost like he beats him up to get information out of him. He meets with the medic too, who's the one that looked through the camera, and he just can't figure out what exactly went on there on that first expedition. And eventually, he meets he has an encounter with the rogue, right? And the alligator. And the alligator eats him, but also the like the alligator seems to be the one that's running things and not the shadowy ghost rogue figure. Um so yes, the alligator eats him, and then I think that's the end of it. Like he just is writing his he becomes part of it, becomes a part of Area X or something. I can't remember. But anyway, yes. Now I know. So again, like I said before, Jeff VanderMeer is playing on so many levels, especially with hypnosis, and you don't know what the heck what's real or not, and you can tell by old Jim's character and his whole situation. Like he's been hypnotized in some way where it's to be easily controlled. But once he runs into the rogue, he is unlocked, and he's no longer susceptible to hypnotism. Um, and and here's the thing too. I can't remember all the events. I'm struggling to remember all the events that happened. But here's the thing. We know that Area X is messing with people, right? Like, what does it do? It's meshing people together. It's creating new weird life forms. Um, it's playing with genetics and just splicing things, right? Like we already knew that from the movie, from Annihilation, from everything. But I think the big thing is that it's also humanity's fault, or Central's fault, that it got so out of hand. And I think it has to do with this hypnosis stuff. Because we don't understand exactly what the goal is of Area X, what it's trying to do, but I know that people not knowing, not being in control of their own mind, also plays a factor into what Area X wants to do, and it's having trouble completing its purpose because these people that go in Area X have been messed with so much. Oh gosh, here's the robot. Here's the robot. That's not. Yeah, I'm curious to talk to other people about it, but like, ooh, ooh, I ran out of ammo. Yeah, I'm curious to talk to other people about it and see um, what they think Area X is and what its purpose is, because we never really find out. But yes, old Jim becomes part of Area X. He is lost. I'm gonna run away, by the way, because I'm out of ammo. I'm gonna explore Area X. Or maybe I should go back to my ship. Yeah, let's go back to the ship. Yes. Um, yeah, that's kind of the problem when you're just talking to yourself. It's like you don't have anybody else to like, exchange thoughts and see what they thought think the meaning is. And maybe if this channel gets more views and subscribers, maybe they'll leave comments and I would like to hear people's thoughts on it. Okay, so we're done with that. Well, we're done with part two. So what was part three again? Part three was the first and the last. Okay, this is the first and the last. This is what I mean when I think Mr. VanderMeer was just given free reign. Here, just do whatever you want. And he does. He creates, this last part takes the perspective of Laurie, and he is just the freaking craziest person ever. He's kind of a psychopath. He's a drug addict. He's probably a sexaholic too. He's just nuts, and we see this perspective, and it's kind of a risky move, I would say, because he's totally unlikable. You know, you don't want this guy to survive, but at the same time, you do know that he survives, right? Because Laurie is in the previous books, which are technically in the future. But what I didn't know if it was Laurie or if it was a doppelganger at the end, and I don't think that's even very clear either. So yeah, so what's this part about? This part is from Laurie's perspective, and this is technically the first expedition into Area X after the wall comes down, or the border. And it's interesting. Of course, almost everybody dies. They get killed by their doppelgangers or by some crazy wall thing that's enveloping them, or through some other crazy way. Like shit just happens. And it's funny to me that the only one of the, well, maybe not the only one, but the main person that survives is Laurie, the craziest one. And I think that's probably on purpose. I think I think in a way Area X does not know what to do with him. I think Area X finds him interesting and weird, and maybe lets him live in some way, or he's just so fucked up that yeah, just Area X just doesn't know what to do with him, so he just ends up surviving. Yeah, there's some crazy moments in this part. Let's not forget how many f bombs are dropped in this part. I would say there's probably close to like, I don't know. I want to say 1,000 f words in this last section, because yeah, Laurie just curses so much, and it's interesting because if it was any other author, nobody, you know, publishers wouldn't let the author do this. Like, yeah, you need to cut down the f bombs, but it's Jeff VanderMeer, and he's developed a reputation for being a great writer. And of course, you can let him do whatever he wants. And in a way, it's interesting. He wants to shake things up. It's hard to care for Laurie. What is that? Okay. But yeah, what actually happens in this part? Yeah, so almost everybody dies. He at one point humps an energy wall, and he think so. Yeah, yeah. There's a part where the energy wall starts attacking the other members, and he just humps it, and he doesn't know that he humps it. He just sees it on a recording later on. It's like, yeah, that's not what I did. I was attacking it. But he's just like having sex with it. It's crazy. It's weird. Another point, he eats a guy's face, and it's Whitby who he eats, presumably, or a doppelganger. So yeah, like they're tasked to go to the lighthouse, I think, or to the island. I can't remember. Uh, but yeah, what happens at the end? Sky, one of the members, goes off, and another guy go to on a get on a boat, and they leave towards the island, I believe, and he never sees them again, I don't think. God, it's I'm having trouble remembering. But he runs into Whitby's corpse and starts eating it. But then later on, he runs into Whitby. Oh, right. The main thing is that Karen, one of the other expedition members, there was 24 that went in there, and they got all picked off one by one. And Karen was one of them. She was a military expert, and it turns out that Karen is old Jim's fake daughter, not real daughter, because we don't actually know uh, what if old Jim even had a real daughter, you know. So yeah, she's there. She's working as a triple agent almost. Um, oh yes. Laurie is tasked by Jack to find out what happened to old Jim and to figure out what this rogue thing is. And if I remember correctly, the rogue is either, I still don't know actually. It's either Whitby or it's the other guy. I don't know. I can't remember, but it's somebody from this expedition messing going in the past and in the future. And this is what I mean. It's like working in the fourth dimension, but it's one of these guys. I think it's Whitby who's the rogue, or at least Laurie thinks it's Whitby. But yes, Karen shoots him, shoots Laurie, and what happens? Oh, right. There's a point where Laurie and Landry, that's right, Landry, that guy, that's the drug dealer that he got his all his drugs from. They ride the alligator's mouth. I I think that was something that happened. And he escapes. Landry doesn't escape, but Laurie reaches the border again, and he's there at the border. He's putting on the suit, and he's talking to the suit, and he sits down and just watches the sunset. And yeah, that's how it ends. Yeah, we don't see him actually go out. We don't. We actually don't know if it's actually Laurie who gets out. It could be a doppelganger because there's a lot of doppelgangers here. There's a whole scene where an army of doppelgangers starts attacking the group, and then Laurie's just shooting his freaking machine gun like crazy. Um, but yeah, my intention was not to summarize this book because I'm having vague, like I'm having trouble remembering everything that happened. So I don't want this to be a regular thing where I just summarize the whole book. I want to talk more deeply about it, and just share my thoughts, my raw thoughts on it. I read I think I finished this about a week ago. And I've been reading books since then, so I'm having trouble remembering everything. But yes, overall, I really like this book because I think it's just doing something different. It's just messing. is messing with the formula, and it's one of those things where yeah, Jeff VanderMeer is given free reign and just do whatever you want. Create a crazy psychopath section character. Yeah, sure. Tell it through through an epistolary narrative. You can do that. And it could get confusing, and it does at times. But I think that's the point. I think this book shines on a reread. To really get deep into what's going on, what's real and what's not real. Because again, there's a lot of hypnosis. You don't know if they're actually seeing the things they are seeing, or if it's Area X messing with their with what's going on, or if it's just a hypnosis. Like it's just hard to tell, and it's in the writing too. Like it's deliberately left vague and strange. That's how I can describe it. Um, which is what I like, which is what any good book that stands the test of time is one that you can appreciate over and over on a reread, and I think this is one of those books. Um, Again, let me go back to my point that at the start of the episode, I don't think this book was necessarily needed to understand the Southern Reach, or like sure it added some things to it, like you know more about the first expedition and what happened before, but did it really add to it anything? I don't know. That's that's up to you to decide. But I mean, yeah, like I said, even this is a full spoilers podcast channel. Like I want to talk freely about all the books I read. Um, and maybe I'll have a more structured way. Like this is kind of like all over the place, and I'm just sort of saying what comes to mind. But maybe I'll do a more structured thing in the future. Um, Look at this place. What is this place? Huh? Some weird mountain things, some weird rocks. But yes, overall, I like the book. I would suggest that everybody go out and read it if you like the Southern Reach trilogy. Um, it may not be your favorite just because, like I said, it it is very different. Um, it's just weird, and you're not gonna trust me. You're not gonna. It's gonna be hard to get through, especially okay. So the first part was hard to get through because you don't know what the heck's going on, and it's all told through these journals. Everybody has code names, but I think it's done on purpose, um, for you to be confused about the first part, so that in the second part, when you're when it takes on a normal perspective with old Jim, you start figuring out, oh, okay, this he's trying to figure out these people or these. Oh, okay, that's the code name. That's the medic, and you're on this journey with old Jim to figure out what happened in those journals and to do research and to interrogate the people that were part of it. Um, and so I really like that aspect. Oh no, who's this guy? Hello, hi.
You're a tough one to track down.
Wow, what is this?
Wanted all over the settled systems for the bounty to match.
Oh, these are the. I don't want you to think I am, but you're about to find out. Oh, you know what? I don't have
Is that
bullets.
right? You talk a good game, I'll give you that much. Most bounties we run into tend to beg first and not second. So, we're off to a good start.
Hmm.
Anyway, since you seem confused just buy our presents. I'll break it down for you.
Yeah.
Seems someone's gone and put an Ashta-sized bounty on your head.
How many credits you think fit in an Ashta, boss?
Good question. I'd say 2,000 creds would be enough to make us forget we ever saw you. Or we could just collect it the old-fashioned way.
Do I want to fight these guys? I don't have any bullets, so I'm just gonna give you the money. Here you
Oh,
go.
that wasn't so hard, was it? You get to live. We get paid.
Okay.
Everyone's happy. And, just a fair warning. Seeing as we're all jumping out, we ain't the only ones trying to collect.
Me and the boss actually met waiting in line for your bounty.
So, unless you're the type who pisses creds in the morning, you might want to square it away with the powers that be. Because more hunters are coming.
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
Go on, get out of here.
When I
Before I
created
change
this,
your minds.
when I created this character, I chose the wanted action, or the wanted trait. And so random bounty hunters just come and try to find you and attack you. That's the first time I've ever seen that actually. At least in a planet. Not in a... Because I've seen it in space when you're on your ship, and random ships just attack you. But yeah, that's crazy that they found me on this planet. Okay. Um, I guess, yeah, that kind of about wraps it up, you know. I was all over the place. Maybe I'll get better at it in the future. I don't know. Um, yeah. You know, I said, let me just end with this. I, I think I would suggest if you like the Southern Reach trilogy, yeah, read this book. I mean, it's Jeff VanderMeer. His writing's always great. Um, you might come to the conclusion that it's probably not his best, but just I urge you to take a look at the writing. His technical, uh, writing skills are incredible, and the writing's beautiful. And not, I still think Annihilation's the better book, of course. That one is the one that can stand alone and be a classic. But this one, you might say, hey, yeah, I don't think it was really needed. It was cool to, to go through and experience Area X again, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it didn't add a lot to this trilogy. So yeah, that's uh, that's kind of it. I would say. I don't know how to end this. How do you end these things? But yeah, more in the future. I kind of wanna do spin next. Maybe I'll do a more structured thing. Like I said, this was all over the place. These are just kind of my raw thoughts. I think people do like more structure instead of me just, speaking into the wind, in this like sort of stream of consciousness kind of thing. But yeah, that's it. Go check out Absolution. And yeah, tell me what you think. Okay, bye bye. Getting on my ship now.